Big news coming from the NCAA regarding Baylor. After a years-long investigation, the NCAA's Committee on Infractions handing down its findings. The committee says Baylor did not violate NCAA rules when it failed to report those sexual assault allegations on campus, but the Bears are being penalized for football-related violations. 25 News anchor Naya Gonzalez starts off our team coverage tonight at McLean Stadium. All right, Naya, so what are the big takeaways from that report?
Todd, the committee found that there were impermissible benefits and recruiting violations between 2011 and 2016. All of this coming out of an initial investigation of sexual assault reporting. Now, it comes about 5 years after former head football coach Art Briles was fired and several student athletes faced charges and convictions. But again, the NCAA says Baylor did not violate any rules when it comes to reporting sexual assault. The committee saying in its finding that the school, quote, admitted to moral and ethical failings in its handling of sexual and interpersonal violence on campus. As part of the NCAA process, the university did acknowledge its significant and moral failings related to sexual and interpersonal violence, and we sincerely regret the actions of a few individuals that caused harm to so many. We must remember that the prospect of NCAA penalties pales in comparison to the suffering of the survivors of such horrific assaults. Now, as I mentioned, Baylor will face consequences. Let's bring in 25 Sports anchor Jack Allen. Jack, what's going to happen with these findings with the school and with the football program?
Well, Nia, when you look at it, it's a more than 50-page document that was released this morning. And as you mentioned, the big key is that there aren't going to be any punishments specifically related to those sexual assault charges. For the time being, nothing in that regard is going to go against Baylor. Baylor officials learned the results of the NCAA ruling just a few hours before it went public, and they're still reviewing all the specifics of it. But Athletic Director Mack Rhodes said in general they agree with the facts of the case and think it's a fair ruling. Baylor was punished for other recruiting and academic violations found during the investigation, but the NCAA found its hands tied when dealing with the assault. They said Baylor's failings, however egregious, didn't constitute violations of NCAA rules.
Part of the reason the finding came down the way it did is because there was also not reporting in other places on campus of sexual assault, all of which was wrong and shouldn't have been the case, but our student athletes were not being treated differently than other students.
Baylor is going to be placed under probation for the next 4 years as they deal with the repercussions of those athletic mistakes from the NCAA. Coming up later, we're going to hear from Dave Aranda on his opinion as Baylor moves on from what's been a dark cloud surrounding this program. AD Mack Rhodes saying that they're looking into the future while remembering everything that's happened in the past. Reporting from McLean Stadium, Jack Allen, 25 Sports.
Jack, thank you. Another part of the 51-page report includes Baylor's use of a club called the Baylor Bruins. It was a predominantly female student host group used for football recruiting events. The committee found the group received impermissible meals, violating recruiting legislation. The group, being mostly women, was also found out to be a violation of the D1 manual bylaws. Baylor arguing that this was a level 3 violation, but the committee ruled it a level 2 violation. The NCAA has had a 4-level violation structure since 2013. Level 1 being a severe breach of conduct, Level 2 is a significant breach of conduct, Level 3 is a basic breach of conduct, and Level 4 is an incidental issue. According to the NCAA, Level 1 violations can seriously undermine or threaten the integrity of the collegiate model. These violations provide substantial or extensive recruiting advantages, major competitive advantages, or impermissible benefits. Central Texans have been speaking out in response to the NCAA's decision. Let's bring in Austin Walker. Austin, this has a lot of people asking, did the NCAA do too much or did they not do enough?
Yeah, that's the big question, Naya. And when it comes to that, the NCAA actually did give about over 100 provisions to the university about how to fix their safety policy when it comes to students as well as sexual assault. And today in that meeting, those leadership people, the people at Baylor, that leadership says they're taking it seriously. Reporting live tonight from McLean Stadium, Austin Walker, 25 News.
All right, Austin, thank you. Now we will continue our coverage on this story tonight at 10. Jack Allen will be talking with the current head football coach, Dave Aranda, about what these findings mean for the football program. Again, that's coming up tonight at 10. Todd, I'll send it back to you in studio.
All right, Naya, thank you. Well, as everyone probably saw there, it's pretty warm outside today. Let's go ahead and check in with Matt. All right, Matt, we'll see you in just a minute. Well, let's look at some statewide vaccination numbers. More than 64% of the state has now been vaccinated. That includes 15.4 million people with at least their first shot and another 12.9 million who are fully vaccinated tonight. More than 74,000 doses have been done so far this week across the state of Texas. The Texas National Guard is hosting a free COVID vaccine clinic on Friday. It's from 3 to 7. It'll be at Southwest Elementary in Belton. Anyone age 12 and older is welcome. And on Monday, the Bell County Health District is hosting a clinic for any students that may need shots or vaccinations of any kind. That's at South Belton Middle School from 9 until 3. The number of hospitalized COVID patients across the state reaching numbers we haven't seen in 6 months. More than 10,000 Texans are now hospitalized, the most since February 4th, when around 10,300 were in the hospital. The new numbers come as the state health department is working to recruit more than 2,500 medical personnel from out of state to help with our surge in cases. Distribution of the vaccine remains uneven across states, even across ethnic groups. Tonight, Asha Qureshi takes a look at the effort to reach the unvaccinated. A local business could soon see a sweet boost in business across Bell County. Coming up, it's been the buzz around town, and now it's going into Walmart. We've got details. Plus, a Democratic state senator announcing she will filibuster the GOP elections bill during this special session. We'll explain.